I've had time to think about how I'm going to sum up this game. Initially, the word frustrated was in my head, but as time went on and I had more time to finalise my thoughts, the word annoyed started to come into my head. Not at least because this game was against a newly promoted team, and I felt that it was there for the taking. It has finished Nottingham Forest 1, West Ham United 0 at the City Ground. And before I start this review, I want to say a massive credit to Nottingham Forest. They played very good, structured football. They were very consistent in their plan, and their fans were absolutely fantastic. From what I saw on my TV, they were loud for the full 90 minutes and made that place very hostile. It's their first game back in the Premier League for 23 years. That atmosphere was somewhat expected. As for the away fans at West Ham, well done for making the trip up, but I couldn't hear anything from the away end. It was very quiet for the most part. It just was a case of the home fans out singing the away fans for quite a lot of the time. But that's not me having a dig at our supporters, because it did well to go to the game and I hope they enjoyed it. Bar the result, of course. My first thought after this game was that it could have been West Ham winning it any other day. And the amount of chances West Ham had, the amount of times West Ham came so close to scoring, it had everything in it. Offsides, VAR, disallowing a goal, penalty miss, crossbar being hit twice, point blank headers being saved. Had everything. And when you just put all those things together in one basket, it's like you knew West Ham wasn't going to get anything out of this. You just kind of knew that was, in a way, going to happen. Yeah, and it is frustrating in a lot of ways. For a start, you know, I have a lot to talk about in this, as per usual in my reviews. But given that we've lost 2 in 2 and lost 8 of our last 12 in the Premier League, questions need to start being asked about the team selection and some of these players. Some of these players are not being challenged enough for a starting role. And even though that is trying to be resolved through the transfer window, or so I'm led to believe, it's still not being resolved after the fact. So let me talk about the game and then give my thoughts afterwards. Because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of action. One change for West Ham in this, Ben Rama in for Lanzini. And Ben Rama was a shining light in this game. He had probably his best game in a hell of a long time for us. Shows you what happens when you play in your natural 10 position. He balls out in there. And if he is dropped next week in the game against Brighton, serious questions will need to be asked. It's all about questions. It's all about questioning. Why wasn't this done? Why wasn't that done? You have to think about that now. But Ben Rama, excellent today in that game. And the first thing I noticed the first half, Jesse Lingard obviously was going to be a centre of attention given all the transfer crap that happened. West Ham fans are throwing fake money at him. I don't think he bothered. He had a stinker of a game. Whatever. He fouled twice. West Ham got the ball back twice in the opening 10. Cresswell was over with the free kick as well, and I think shooting shots over and crossing in too deeply into the box were things that West Ham did really badly. A lot of fouls were in the final third. I must admit, Moussa Niakate, the Forest defender, did actually get off the hook so many times. He should have been booked, I feel, but he wasn't. Just Forest got higher up and threatened. Nico Williams putting in some decent crosses, redeeming himself from his mistake that he made against Newcastle last week. Williams had a really good game for Forest, as did Lewis O'Brien. Lewis O'Brien dictated that midfield. Really helped his team to start attacking again after he got the ball back. Williams, O'Brien had fantastic games for Forest. And they really showed the worth in the first half. West Ham was linked with O'Brien. Moyes wanted him. And the reason for that is because of how talented he is. I mean, we've got Flynn Downs in, and that's something I'm going to mention a bit later in the video. But Moyes' talent ID was spot on with that one particular player. West Ham had a chance as the game went on, and it was the first real chance. Benrahma's curling shot was saved by Henderson into the path of, I think it was Souček and Worrell. And Worrell had to stretch his body out really far to get the ball out of play. And Henderson was amazing in this game. He complained that he wasn't getting enough game time at Man United. United just got battered 4-0 by Brentford. United fans are calling now for Henderson in. Because he's gone out to Forest, and in this one game, he was man of the match for them, in my opinion. He kept Forest in this. Sensational performances from him. He's a sensational goalkeeper, I have to say. I felt that West Ham played really good on the right, but the left was slow. Bowen lacked energy and pace and was getting caught up with quite a few times. He had his worst game yet in a West Ham shirt, in my opinion. I don't even know what Cresswell really did when it wasn't a set piece. I felt... This sounds weird because I am going to criticise Souček in this because I don't think he's deserved a starting place for a long time, but bloody hell. Antonio and Bowen are forward players. Souček went forward more than them. He got into one-on-one situations, or at least attempted to, more than them. That is bad. And he isn't really that fast either. Bowen was getting closed down, but Benrahma was showing a strong threat. He looked calm, composed, and he was trying. He was putting in effort. Nico Williams denied at close range by Fabianski, which was really impressive from the Polish goalkeeper. Made some crucial saves as well. It was a battle of the goalkeepers, and it was a battle of Johnson v Johnson, Brennan versus Ben. Just like Johnson, like the baby company, like the COVID vaccine that you have in North America here. That's how it was. Ben Johnson, I felt, was good at most of his defensive stuff, but he did have 2 incidents where he could have cost his team a little bit. I have to sneeze. Bless me. West Ham making me sick. I'm not really sick, guys, don't worry, just... Okay. Zuma didn't even look 100% up for this. He didn't look 100% fit. He was slagging a bit. And so far, nothing. He's our least technical player. But a little bit of the rant over. West Ham went 1-0 up. Benrahma scored the goal, striking it in, but VAR was looking at this because apparently Antonio charged into a player and the player went down like this. Over dramatic in a way. But I think Antonio's just his momentum runs into the player and it causes him to drop to the ground. I don't think it was malicious in any way. But he got VAR'd and no goal was given. Rob Jones was that referee. He was shocking, actually. Gave a lot of cheap fouls away. That VAR decision was always going to be a bit of a 50-50 one, but I think it was the wrong call. And I was like, well, if we've got that goal against the run of play for us, and surely we can use that as more motivation going on. It wasn't to be, and Forest took the lead in first half stoppage time through a really bloody jammy effort. And this was jammy. Lingard hit the ball on Ben Johnson. Johnson kind of deflects it. Johnson tries to get it away. He kind of kicks it into the path of Awoyini, and Awoyini scores from just bouncing off him. It was a very FIFA-style goal. Very disappointing one to give away, it has to be said. But at the same time, Forest did deserve that lead. I were 1-0 down at half-time, and that obviously changes up your team talk, because we're going to make Moyes want to say, you'd think, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to be a bit better in our midfield. But that goal, I don't know if it was really a defensive error from Johnson. I don't know what more he could have done in that position, but his marking and closing down before that, it was just not on. Second half was a hell of a lot better from West Ham. I have to credit the second half performance because it was strong. It was fairly dominant. and the effort was there in the second half from most players, bar a few. Rice hit the crossbar. Souček forced a save with a close-range header. I don't know why he's heading it here when Henderson's more comfortable diving to the right when he could have headed it other way. No need. More attack and more promise. But then Forest took the lead again through Brennan Johnson. Bad defending for this, but I saw this on the replay offside, and it correctly wasn't given. The referee did something right there. Correctly, it wasn't given. Fabianski had to save from a corner, jumping in the air to catch the ball. Then from a set piece, Ben Rama hit the crossbar and it bounced onto the line. It could have been like 3-1 to us at this point, if you think about it. A few months later, West Ham ended up getting a counter-attack. Fornals went into a challenge. Fornals came out stronger, was able to carry the ball further. Got it to Ben Rama. Ben Rama into the box. Souček fires it. Looked like Henderson had saved it, and I thought he had. But Scott McKenna turned out to put his arm in the way. It did go to VAR. It was given as a penalty. McKenna was yellow-carded. You could argue that was a goal-scoring opportunity and he should have been sent off. Henderson kind of got him out of the woods there in a way. But Souček again with a shot. He was going for it. I mean, in terms of trying to score, Souček was doing that. However, it's everything else he lacked. He lacked composure. He lacked the concentration. He lacked anything going forward. Declan Rice was the one chosen to step up to take the penalty. Ben Rama scored 7 of his last 7. Rice's penalty miss against West Brom came back to haunt me in a way. Thinking about it, I did not trust Declan Rice to take this penalty, and he had a bit of a poor game as well. Let's not forget. Took it to the right and saved. Why are we keep shooting? Was it actually no? It was the left of the goal rather. Why are we shooting to the left when Henderson's used to dive into his left? Saved. Rice denied and still 1-0. It wasn't necessarily Declan's fault that we didn't get anything from the game, but that penalty didn't help. He's got to be off penalty duties. Get Bowen or Antonio on it. Or maybe the next person I'm about to mention, because West Ham made a double sub, albeit on 70 minutes. This should have been done way earlier. Scamacca and Lanzini on for Fornals and Antonio. Correct subs, if you ask me. Niakate then had to go off for Forest because he'd done his hamstring in. Scamacca on the pitch for only a few minutes and already ran that guy ragged. I felt when Scamacca came on, yeah, alright, he might have offered something a bit different up top, but I didn't think he was amazing. He had a block shot, couldn't get the ball through the traffic. Lanzini, he lacks the attacking style. You see, he doesn't have the pace anymore for it. He doesn't have the legs anymore for it. I think an attacking mid is something we should be looking at in the last 2 weeks of this window. Or 3 weeks, whatever it is. Definitely going to have to get new centre-backs in for the long run, and also because Johnson at centre-back wasn't the worst, but it also wasn't the best. Johnson kind of kicked the ball against Awayini for it to go in. And there's another chance where I think it was Niakate came close because Johnson flicked the ball onto Niakate and it nearly went in. So that as well was something to think about. But I thought the Fornals didn't really have an awful game, but he is good going forward. However, he might benefit from a deeper role. Because when he's playing deep, he tends to make his passes from there. And definitely don't stick him on the left wing. We've established. We need to establish this. Even more frustration came when Kurt Zouma headed the ball towards the goal line and Nico Williams cleared it off. And he had a sensational game. That just added to the annoyance. Maxwell Cornet finally came on in the last 5 minutes for Jared Bowen. Cornet should have been on way sooner. Should have been on way sooner. I don't think Cornet made a big impact, mind you, because he didn't have too long. But Bowen coming off was the right thing to do. Just a poor game from him. And they finished 1-0 to Forest. Now, what can I say? Yeah, Lady Luck might have played a role in this. I suppose I could say that. But we did have the chances. Look, I just said, crossbar twice, VAR disallowing, penalty miss, clearance off the line. It just wasn't going to be West Ham's day. It was just going to be like one of those, it's just one of them West Ham kind of games where nothing goes our way, no matter how hard we try. As for the manager, He's been getting it wrong quite a bit with his team lineups. He starts players who aren't up for it. He starts players who don't deserve to start. Antonio has not deserved to start for a hell of a long time. What do you do when a player is playing badly? You drop the player. That player does not start until he or she is better and up to standard again. Antonio is often one of the first people on that team sheet and was for so long because he was unchallenged in the forward position. Why is he still starting every game? You know, we cried out for a striker or something. We got that. We got Gianluca Scamacca in, who David Moyes claimed to be, quote, ready. So why was Scamacca on the bench? And why did he not come on sooner? So, you know, we've been looking for a good left winger. We got Maxwell Cornet in. Why is he coming on in the last 5 minutes? He could have come on at half time. Had both of those players come on at half time, it could have made a world of difference. It could have changed events, if you ask me. Souček, do not get me started. Do not get me started. The guy has not been good again for many months. He's not been a threat from set pieces. He hasn't been a threat in that midfield. He hasn't scored goals. He coasts a bit. He like half jogs instead of running the distance like he used to. Rice was a little bit off today. He struggled to get forward as well. I really think Forest had him on lockdown, I think, as well. Sofal, Bowen, Lanzini, poor games. Sofal didn't really offer anything. Cresswell's crossing, way too deep. Way too deep. No one was getting near the ball. It's like when you hold down the circle on the PlayStation controller. Is that how you cross on FIFA? I don't know. I think it's circle from when I played. Bowen looked knackered. He didn't play up to standard. Antonio couldn't get forward enough. It was Souček, ironically, going forward more than Antonio, and Souček's what I'm slagging off in this. And when I say these things about the players, I'll just have you all know, it's not me condemning them. It's not me saying that I despise them or have anything personal against them. It's correct criticism. It's constructive criticism because they don't deserve praise if they're not playing well. The two players for West Ham that deserve praise from this game are Lucas Fabianski and Said Benrahma. Fabianski, fantastic in goal despite conceding an unfortunate one. Benrahma, unfortunate to be disallowed, but created key chances for the team. This hate thing with Benrahma that our fans have got, people forget how good he actually can be. It's just not on. I mean, they're attacking midfielder though, that is for sure, because I don't want to put Lanzini in there. Fornals, yeah, possibly, but no, not for me. And like I say, if this continues, and it has continued for a while, questions now need to be asked to David Moyes. These journalists need to challenge him and say, why don't you feel that you should rotate the team? We've got a young lad on the bench who's a West Ham fan, who says West Ham is in my blood. Flynn Downs is on the bench. I would have rather had him in than Souček because his passing is better and his tackling is better. He had 93% tackle success in the Championship last season, more than any other player. So why the heck is Flynn Downs not getting game time? He better not be the next Alex Kral. I'm telling you that now. Scamacca has to start. Okay, we might even need to change the formation up. Because we've been going for the same formation for all the damn time, and it hasn't worked since last season. The teams we've beaten with it were like Watford and Norwich. Relegation teams, when we were at the top end. Just change your team up, freshen the team up, and we might actually have something here. But I reckon it's going to take an injury to Antonio or someone like that for somebody to get an actual starting place. It's going to take an injury to Antonio, inevitably it's going to probably happen, for Scamacca to get in. Just as an example. Not that I wish a player to get injured, of course. We've got to get players in now quickly. This Kura centre-back, this Sharlai centre-back, get them in. Get them in. I'm not kidding. We need that solidity at the back. Get them in. Get me another left-back, because Cresswell's just going to end up playing there and no one's going to be able to challenge him for that place. He'll just coast around knowing he's going to start regardless. Another attacking midfielder would be great. I personally want Kura, Sharlai, Kirksu, and people were laughing at Ben Brereton Diaz saying he would be shit. No, get him in. For £12 million, that is, you're going to snap someone's hand off. I would have him in for the rotation. And who knows, we could get something good out of him with Moyes. I'm not Moyes out. I'm not anti-Moyes. But questions need to be asked of his decisions, his team selection, and his tactics. Right now, I saw a much better performance against Forest compared to Manchester City. I really did, in some ways. But a lot of players are getting away with bad performances and being rewarded for bad performances by starting. Don't reward failure, because failure is not acceptable. Get your players to play and get them to represent this badge for what it means. Drop Souček, drop him for sure, drop Sofal. Get Harrison Ashbian, wouldn't do any harm. We now got to prepare for Thursday for the UEFA Conference League. And then we got Brighton on Sunday, one day after my birthday. Please don't ruin my birthday. That's all I ask. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the video, just thumbs up. And if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Take care, everyone. I'll see you all soon. I'm off to bed because I spent most of the day depressed West Ham fan here because I've forgotten exactly how this team sometimes screws in my head.